Hell yes. A prosecutor with an empathy body count of 0, angling fully towards revenge, the son of the man he thinks killed his father, who's already been scorned by the world and is now buried at work by that exact guy who's supposed to hate him. Neither have any idea they're on a crash course for an enemies to lovers arc. 10 episodes to make me believe that when they end up handcuffed together, they're happy about it. That's the case the prosecutor's proposal opened with. Let's dive into whether it actually delivered. So, how do you go from wanting to ruin someone to giving them every possible out instead? That's the whole arc. This show starts with Prosecutor Ju wielding his job and authority like a weapon. Buries Cheha in a week's worth of case files just to watch him drown. Cheha had already told him, "You can keep doing whatever you want to me. I won't resign first." And true to that, when he comes back having actually done the work, Prosecutor Ju only begrudgingly gives him anything. The first one is good, the last one I was disappointed in. You're just a so-so investigator. It's not feedback. This is Prosecutor Ju looking for a reason to say "I told you so" to the person he claims to absolutely hate and detest. Episode 5, he calls in a favor from his prosecutor friend Giho. Won't say why, isn't specific. Just, there's a jerk who annoys me, he messed with someone important to me, and I'm going to pay him back. His friend, genuinely stunned like the rest of us. So you have someone important to you now? And Prosecutor Ju's response? I know, right? He himself can't even believe it. And the part that gets me, it's not a confession to the person he's supposedly starting to care about. It's not a grand gesture. A man quietly sending backup after that man's despicable uncle without ever telling him he did it. But by episode 7, it's not so subtle anymore. Cheha comes back from a harmless little arcade friend date, and Prosecutor Ju is already walking away. This hand that was just waving happily at another man, I don't want it holding me. And Cheha follows him anyway. Prosecutor Ju gives him an out, despite being frustrated. I have run out of patience today. If you want to leave, turn around and go now. Cheha doesn't turn around. Prosecutor Ju tells him flatly, I don't plan on being gentle with you today. He's not being cruel about it. He's just out of road, a man who spent this whole show weaponizing restraint, and restraint takes energy he apparently doesn't have left. And then you get to the cop element. The police procedural didn't do this show dirty. It's not a costume. They didn't treat it like flavor. It's the reason these two people are standing in front of each other at all. Prosecutor Ju's whole personality is a murder investigation that never closed. Commit to that, and yeah, it just makes the whole thing better. And you can tell the difference the moment something in the case goes wrong. Episode 10, a piece of seized evidence comes back contaminated. A staff member's DNA turns up on it. Prosecutor Ju's first reaction isn't suspicion, like it's some pivotal plot point moment. It's him doing his job. Oh, sorry about that. I'll tell my staff to be more careful. Just an honest apology for a small, seemingly dumb mistake. It lets him be a little embarrassed about his office that they weren't careful, before he comes to understand that this is actually changing everything. But combine that with the gloves and the evidence bags, the constant calls to a lab that doesn't get back to them instantaneously. That's not set dressing. That's just how the job actually works. And it never cuts corners. And that's exactly why I bought these two. Not just as feelings, but as people who actually work a case together. And here's my actual bar for a redemption arc. It's not enough that someone just says, sorry. I have to believe they've changed enough, done enough, that saying sorry and expressing real feelings means something. This show earns it through stabbings, 2 of them, literally, and shared misery. First, episode 6. Cheha gets hurt protecting Prosecutor Ju, and Prosecutor Ju's response is almost comically possessive for someone who isn't supposed to like him. Don't get hurt by other people. Be it physically or mentally, it's enough that I'm the only one hurting you. Absolutely ridiculous to say out loud. But underneath it, you get the sentiment. It's so authentically Prosecutor Ju that he can't stand anyone else hurting Cheha. He hasn't named it yet. It's duty, real duty, but you can see him wrestling with it underneath. getting to care. Then episode 9, Cheha finds out who Prosecutor Ju really is. He's hurt and it's a gut-wrenching conversation. He says, "We were already broken when we met. Thanks to you, I'm more miserable now more than ever." And Prosecutor Ju's apologizing. "I'm sorry, I was wrong." But Cheha's not letting him off that easy. And in fact, he's insisting that he's the one who should apologize for his father, for never looking for him, never recognizing him. And Prosecutor Ju has to sit with that. Cheha telling him, "As long as I'm around you, you'll always be miserable." It's hard. Then Cheha's attacked in his own home, nearly strangled to death. Prosecutor Ju gets there in time to save him, and it's the fear of almost losing him that finally unravels the rest of this apology. Not just, "I'm sorry this time." It's the raw admission. "I thought making you miserable was revenge. I wanted you to be 1,000,000 times more miserable than me. But the more miserable you are, the more miserable I am." That's him admitting the whole revenge plan was a lie he told himself. And Cheha's answer isn't, "It's okay, it's fine." It's, "Instead of being happy alone, I'd rather be miserable with you. This is my choice." They understand each other. And choice is key, because then you get episode 10 and the second stabbing. Except this time, Cheha doesn't just take the hit. He intentionally grabs Song's arm and spins him around, so he's the one that gets stabbed. Nobody grabs someone's arm and spins them around by accident. That's a decision made mid-flight with his own 2 hands. Same protective impulse as episode 6, but now it's not duty doing the deciding, it's the choice he already put into words. "I choose to be with you. I choose to protect you." This is what that looks like when it's out in the open. Nobody wrote them back together. They walked back into it, eyes open, knowing exactly what they were choosing, misery or not. And look, shocking to none, this is an absolute sustained for me. 10 episodes made me believe that a no-empathy prosecutor literally and metaphorically wanted to handcuff the original target of his revenge to his own side for life. The police procedural could have sunk this whole thing into costume. Instead, it became another character holding everything up, never once an excuse. And I got the growth, the reconciliation, all of it. Not for a happy ever after exactly, something a little stranger than that, and somehow it's quite a bit more romantic. Rewatchable? Yes, all of it. All 10 episodes. They never dragged, and every piece really earned its place. And who it's for? Definitely asymmetric enemies to lovers, apologies that come with an actual explanation of why, a definite psychological thriller twisty enough to earn its own runtime, and power plays that will make you only slightly uncomfortable. The vibe it left? Yes, I will definitely be defending my revenge-fueled prosecutor and his punching bag target because, God, Your Honor, misery apparently is the perfect foundation for love. Disagree or have another vibe? Drop that in the comments.